Welcome to the Supply Chain Pioneers podcast, where we highlight industry leaders on the forefront of innovation and technology in planning, procurement, and logistics. Hosted by your supply chain pro to know, Ulf Venn.
Supply Chain Pioneers is powered by Everstream Analytics. Everstream gives you the predictive insights and analytics to make your supply chain faster, smarter, safer, and leaner. Go to everstream.ai to book your demo today. Hey everyone, and we're back with round 2 of the Gartner sessions. I want to thank everybody for the great contribution you did in celebrating the 2-year anniversary of Supply Chain Pioneers. That was great. And we're going to continue, hopefully, celebrating with this episode that features Zera Zheng from Maersk and Tim Nelson from Hope for Justice. Both of them being awesome previous guests of Supply Chain Pioneers and had quite a lot of good things to say about Gartner, the community around Gartner, and also what they individually contributed to the conference. And with that, I hope you have a lot of fun with the Gartner sessions. If you saw me glancing over there, I just checked if I recorded, which I do at every single Supply Chain Pioneers quite a lot. So whenever my eyes wander in this direction, it's always me looking for the recording. That's a little quick behind the scenes. Anyway, have a nice day, everyone. Have fun with the Gartner sessions. Part 2. Hi, everyone. We're back, and today with Zera Zheng from Maersk. Hey, Zera, how have you been?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. Thank you very much. And also very nice to be here again.
Perfect. So Zera, the sun is shining in beautiful Barcelona. We're still at Gartner. How has the Gartner conference been for you?
I find it's very interesting. A lot of new thoughts, new ideas here. And this year, there's a lot of sessions that talk about the AI and also risk management for sure. And the resilience now for sure is in the big topics here.
Perfect. Yeah. So, and talking about a big topic, resilience, were you able to connect with peers? How's your network here? And how did you prepare before you get here in order to make sure your network is available?
Wow, that's a very big question. Actually, before I come here, also I used the social medias, LinkedIn to make people aware that, okay, I'm coming to the event. And in case anyone's here, then we can also connect. I feel that in general, Gartner event is a very good place to connect to here and also do the networking. A lot of resilience and pioneers and veterans and also come to the event. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, we had a lot of supply chain pioneers being here. And obviously a lot of people follow you because of your amazing newsletter that you feature every week. Still best supply chain risk management newsletter out there. But you not only have your newsletter, you also had a speech. So what did you talk this year on Gartner?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yesterday we had sessions sharing about some of the risk source and also solutions on the risk management in general. So we do have a new product which is now available, provide our customers on the real-time visibility of disruptions, mapping with their actual shipments data and supported by the risk insight to help them act.
And how are customers leveraging this already right now?
Yeah, currently we got some very positive feedback. In general, this is a new product. So no matter during the previous pilot or the new customer we just onboarded, the feedback is in general is very positive. Actually, I think the risk insight is definitely help us and to keep our customers satisfied.
Yeah. And I think for you as Maersk, it's a lot about insight to action, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have the assets to actually do something. Yes. Which is great in logistics. Do you have any tangible examples maybe on that?
Yes, I can maybe give examples of the most common situations in the ocean area, that's congestions. So we know that there's a lot of port congestions, but we probably don't know that port congestions can be caused by different reasons. For example, early this year, there's a port of Vancouver have a severe congestions up to 15 to 20 days. But actually, it was more related to the extreme weathers and winter weathers that's affecting their railway operations, then further affecting the port operations. But also, we know that early this year, there's another port that has been congested, that's Singapore. Not severe, but actually we also observed. And that one is actually caused by some carriers during the shipment network adjustment. So actually, the different reasons of these congestions also will adjust your projections on how long the congestion will be. So that is also important that you have the insight rather than just the information tell you, okay, that spot will be congested. So what?
Yeah. And with that, you can predict, okay, how long is it going to last? What are the actions I'm going to do? Because obviously, right, a natural disaster might be severe for the moment, but ebb very quickly. And then others take forever because there's a structural issue. So yeah, it's great. I really love that. I really love that as part of the presentation, actually.
Thank you.
Good. So what is your key takeaway from the conference?
My key takeaway from the conference, I think that the AI part is for sure. Actually, I also listened to quite a few sessions and also many companies and also including the Gartner analysts. They share a lot of thoughts on their studies, on their research, showing that many companies now is working on AI. And interestingly, this AI has been adopted not just for the cost efficiency, but also for the risk detections and also the risk assessment in general. I do feel that now is because of this technology, actually in somehow it's reduced, I would say, threshold for players to coming to these areas. So you are no longer you don't need to be an expert in supply chain, but you still can provide the risk insight, the risk information to others by adopting the technology.
Yeah, and we had Nadine talk about this as well. Nadine talked about them all not being from logistics, but now being the dominant risk source for their teams.
Exactly.
So it was also very interesting. Great. Zera, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Perfect. I hope you have a good trip back, actually, and hopefully see you next year as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Perfect. And with that, have a nice day, everyone, and bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. And I'm here with Tim Nelson from Hope for Justice. How are you today?
I'm doing really well.
Perfect.
A little bit tired, but doing very well.
Yeah, it was an intense conference, right? Talking about the conference, how was Gartner for you?
Yeah, Gartner for me is such an interesting place. There's so many individuals coming from a complex kind of raft of different industries and coming from different countries. And for me, it's always a place where you get to meet new people, enlarge the place of understanding and knowledge and learn something every time.
Yeah, it's actually super interesting. So you come from a very different angle, right? Because you jumped into supply chain from this slavery, from the writ supply chains from forced labor angle. What were topics that were interesting for you in the conference?
That's fascinating because obviously I'm in a space where there's lots of people talking about forced labor. So I have that coming at me in spades. But what I find really interesting is some of the stuff that they were talking about culture and around thinking about Hope for Justice and the size that we are and the staff team that we've got and how we can try and help shape culture for the organization to move forward. Particularly, there was a talk this morning that was talking about the Netflix effect, about having staff members that are maybe not having as many staff members, but the staff members that you're adding real value and allowing them, releasing them to a place where they can impact and help drive business performance going forward.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. So I talked a little bit already about Hope for Justice. Since the podcast, it's around 1.5 years now. So what happened at Hope for Justice?
So we're always evolving in so many different spaces because we bring on new team members and we're working in different areas. You learn and you grow. I would say this last year, it's been complex. We're sitting in a world which is constantly changing and evolving. We've seen everything that's come on this year with tariffs and choices that different companies are making. And I think on the Slave Free Alliance front, the work that we do at Hope for Justice, working with businesses, Slave Free Alliance has sought to try and really step further into making a bigger impact with businesses. So bringing on more of the bigger businesses. So from a UK perspective, we've now got to the point where we've got 17 of the FTSE 100 on board. And that in itself carries complexities because those companies come with expectations of what you can do, which stretches you and brings you into new areas. On the charity side of things, we're in a world where the world has changed a lot in the last few months. And with USAID being wrapped up, that's made a big impact in the charity world. So I think a large portion of the charity this last year has been around how do we get sustainability in our funding? How do we try and build an organization that's robust against any of the shocks that come through? Because in the same way as you see that in supply chain shocks, we see that in the charity world shocks. If something happens in the business world, it has a knock-on effect in the charity world because you've got to make the profits to be able to give them away.
Yes.
And therefore, at Hope for Justice, we've probably had to work maybe 3 or 4 times harder to try and bring in the finances that we need to sustain the amazing operation that we have across the world, making a bigger difference in that area.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say there was never a better time than now to decide to support Hope for Justice as an individual or as a company.
Absolutely. And I didn't pay him for that, honestly. I'd say from my perspective, there's this issue of modern day slavery and wanting to make a difference, see people set free. It's such a compelling aspect of life. Freedom is something we take for granted. The thought that there are people who are held against their will, forced to do unimaginable things, it is something I've given my life to and wanting to see a bigger change in that area. And I'd encourage anybody to help support Hope for Justice. We get individuals who do marathons and people who do cake sales, people who give from their businesses or give from their own personal wealth, people who give a small amount on a regular basis. We call those individuals guardians, but really they're the heroes in this story because we can create a framework, but without the finances to do what we need to do, it won't be possible. It's the fuel that enables our program teams to go out into the communities, finding the victims, helping to bring them back and helping to bring a sense of not just freedom, but long-term life change. So helping them on their journey of recovery, trauma-informed care, and helping them to be able to be stable in that space and move on in their lives. So yeah, I would encourage everybody to give. If there's anybody who's watching who's recently won the lottery and you're feeling the urge to give, I would say don't fight that urge, just step into it. But in real terms, we've not built the organization with people giving that type of money to us. We've built it where people have given sacrificially of what they have to help support us. And the small sum total of everything that people give on a regular basis helps us support the work that we do and really changes lives. And we got to a point this year where the total number of people that we've impacted through our program since we started 17 years ago has hit 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And none of that would be possible without the faithful giving and support that we see across the world for justice.
Yeah. And out of a personal experience, I can say becoming a guardian is actually super easy through the website, very quick. And you get a great newsletter where you see the development, very pragmatic on, okay, here are the individuals we were able to save this month and good updates on a very regular basis. So I really feel it's a great organization because you have very tangible stories to tell all the time about situations where you were able to free people from forced labor. So yeah, I would recommend that, Frank.
I would also recommend you that basis. In fact, we could just do a whole podcast on recommending you to support Hope for Justice.
Yeah, you could literally probably fill 5 hours with stories of situations where you freed people of forced labor alone in this year.
Yeah, it's super humbling to hear the stories and hear individuals whose lives have been transformed. I think what we try and focus on as much as we can is not the victims, but the survivors, the lives that have been changed and transformed. And an absolute privilege to be at this point in time and the journey that we've had and the impact that we've made. But knowing that with nearly 50 million people in some form of modern day slavery, the job is not done yet. We need to press on and do more and see that impact come.
Yeah. And we will all help. Tim, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate the work you do on a daily basis. So have a great day. And enjoy the sun while it still lasts because you're going back to the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
I guess I also realized I have to have an outro. So just want to say thank you for watching, listening, or however you're enjoying this podcast. And have a nice morning, evening, or night, wherever you are. And with that, bye. Bye.
This was Supply Chain Pioneers. Thanks for watching, listening, or however you are enjoying this podcast. You can find Supply Chain Pioneers on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all other major podcast players, as well as on YouTube at Ulf Talk Supply Chain. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time.